Talafalava, my name's William Brown. Just before we kickstart into the intro, just a big thank you to those that have been on here prior to the show. That we are running our second to last show. So and whatnot. What better way to end it with a banger of a guest that we have today? This obviously platform was for a bunch of guys created, wanting to create that platform for the Talanoa, normalize the Talanoa, and then reach out to those that are out there wanting to kind of join in. Teza?
Yeah, like they also said, I'm Teza, and again, this space is just created for everyone to share their struggles with life, and in the hopes of sharing our journeys, that we help someone out there. We're not professionals. We're not. We said this to the brother Dave. We come on here and we're just here to help. We're here to lend a shoulder or just listen. So we love doing this. We love this mental space because it's not spoken about as much as it should be, especially with us Polynesian Māori men who I think put up this wall, and at times they seek they need the help, but it's just not, I guess it's not as easy as people say. So thank you for coming on and listening to us. I know you don't want to listen to us, but listen to the man that's coming on. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on the brother Dave. Bro, we've been saying this all week. He's an MVP, and we're quite shocked that he said yes to coming on to our show, because that's probably going to be the most people that's ever watched our show, because this dude's coming on. He's a busy man, and we've only got him for an hour because as this guy is doing in life is just amazing, and I can't really say much, but bring the brother on. Let's bring on Dave Letele.
Yo, what's up, team?
Hey, brother.
No excuses.
No excuses.
Great to be here.
Hey, man, thank you for jumping on and saying yes. I think you probably got trapped as soon as you seen all this notifications that are coming your way, bro.
Yeah, no, it was cool, man. I checked out what you guys are doing, so I thought it's important I jump on. So now it's happy to be here, bro.
Oh, sweet, bro. So for the people in the back, who is Brown Butterbean, or sorry, I should say Dave Letele?
Yeah, Dave Letele, aka the Mighty Brown Butterbean. I'm just a normal person, that's been blessed to be able to serve our people. I come from very humble beginnings, and like a lot of us, born into an environment that I thought was normal. Wasn't really until later in life I understood that it wasn't. But like every other our people that are going through struggles, I've been through my fair share. But I believe that everything you go through happens for a reason. It's always for me it's God's plan. That I'm able to, everything I went through and all the struggle I did go through has enabled me to do what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Nice, brother. Just want to, sorry, just before we go on, if you have questions for the also come through in the chat. Again, it's all live, so just come through and we'll try our best to get through to any of the questions you guys have. So thanks. Where we want to start is obviously where you grew up, but I think that's been spoken about on many of the podcasts that you've been on and interviews you've had. For us, I think we want to start where it all happened. All this, I guess you went through this rough patch when think in Australia where you're going through stuff and then you made the move and then all the stuff started happening for yourself, bro. So in Australia, bro, how did this all happen? Oh, sorry, before Australia.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few times, bro, that I've gone through some real struggles. You know, the first time was when I was 21, and my father, he got sent away for cultivating marijuana. You know, he had warehouses and houses everywhere. And I was actually a security guard in one of these warehouses. I was going to uni. I had another job, but I was also, one of my jobs was manning this warehouse. And it wasn't, you know, as a security guard, it wasn't the type of security guard where you call the police, you know, if someone's trying to break in, you know. You know, we had a gun there, and we couldn't sleep at night. We had to be up, you know, and it was crazy, you know, when I think back now, you know, it was crazy. But, you know, the first time I got into some tough times was when I got the phone call from my mum saying, "Don't go to work today because we've been raided." And that feeling I got, bro, is what I talk to a lot of our youth about this the so-called gangster life that's just glamorized, you know, on YouTube and music videos and in our neighborhoods. It's glamorized, and it's just not. It's far from it, you know. And when the party's over, everyone's gone. You know, and that feeling I got was I was so scared and angry at what was happening, because my father went away when I was 5, but I didn't understand, you know, I didn't get it. But at 21, I fully understood the repercussions of my dad's actions. So, you know, he went away, and I was worried about my mum and my 2 younger sisters. And I just went right off the rails. You know, I went right off the rails. And in boxing, I played a character, and this was the first time in my life I played a character of a bad guy, because I wasn't a gangster at all. I wasn't a bad, you know, I was studying hard. I went to uni. You know, I was wanting to be better, you know, and I hated being poor, but I went down that path of trying to educate myself. And, you know, I didn't use where I was from as an excuse. But at 21, I went right off the rails, and I ended up living in a tinny house in Mangere on Plumley Crest. Just being this real bad guy, trying to build this reputation, you know, drinking, doing drugs, fighting all the time, and just being an idiot, really. And, you know, everything culminated one night when I came home after a party. I was real drunk and just upset and angry. You know, that's what my feelings at that time was. Just I had a massive chip, not just on one shoulder, on both. I was so angry with the world and angry with my father, and just think, man, how's this happening to us? And I felt for my mum, and because in that life, you know, you worry for your mum when, you know, all the men are away. My dad's in prison. My uncle Lay he's serving 15 years in Peremera more maximum, so he's away. It's only me. So I was out there doing all the stuff because I was worried and trying to, you know, make sure that let everyone know I'm still around. One night I came home after a party, real drunk. I went into the kitchen. I grabbed out a steak knife and I put it into my chest, and that really was the first time I went through some real bad struggles. And I remember I was in hospital, and I wake up and my mum's there. She's crying. And later in the day, 2 prison guards bring my dad, and I don't want to see him. I was just, you know, I'd done 2 papers of psychology at uni, so when you do things like that, they send a shrink around to evaluate you. But I could just speak their language and tell them what they wanted to hear, you know. And I remember getting out, and I was on the back doorstep of this tinny house, and I just stared at the sky, man. I just think, surely, and I know we've all felt this way, you know. I just said, surely, God, there's more to my life than this. You know, I didn't know what, but I knew it wasn't this, you know. And I got up and I worked. You know, and it was the first time, and from that doorstep, I ended up playing league all around the world. You know, I played league in North Sydney Bears, played in France. I was contracted with Manly. I chased that dream. You know, I could never quite crack it, but I was there. You know, and you know, I ended up being successful in business. You know, and that was the first time I had to rebuild. But unfortunately, I lost. You'd think that was a happy ending, you know? Man, this guy come from the Mongol mob, come from nothing. Dad's a bank robber. Dad's a drug dealer, drug grower, and he makes good. But unfortunately, that wasn't to be. You know, I lost everything in Australia, and yeah, I moved back here in February 2014 with not 1 cent in my pocket. It's not that long ago. If you think about what we're doing now, with not 1 cent in my pocket and just a mess. I was a mess, you know, like I was in bad shape physically, well over 200 kilos, but I was in worse shape up here mentally. Mentally, I wanted to, you know, I didn't have my children. I was so upset because it was my fault because I was an idiot. You know, I still had some of their clothes, and I'd smell their clothes at night and cry myself to sleep. You know, I was living in a community home in Clendon. You know, I was living with convicted rapists and thieves that just got out of prison. You know, that's where I was, and wanting to drive into a pole every day. But what saved me was exercise. You know, and that you know, I grew up with a guy called Dave Higgins from Duco, and he really was my guardian angel because you know, he said, look, let's throw you on a card, on Joe Parker card, to see if motivates you to lose some weight. You know. And that's what happened. And so, you know, I just worked. But coming back here with not 1 cent, when you come from nothing, you have a lot, then you lose it all. It's very humbling, you know. And I used I always talk to our people, make sure that, you know, find your purpose and find your why. And if it's strong enough, it'll get you through anything. Because that's what I use. I use the want for my kids. I wanted my kids back. I have all my children back now, a new wife and a new son. But back then I was far from here, you know. But I would just picture it. I picture having my kids, holding my kids' hands. I picture having them with me, and that's what kept me going, you know. And so, yeah.
Bro, that feeling in I guess in Australia where you lost everything, and was that the point where you lost your kids in Australia, or was it when you before you left to Australia?
No, I was over there, and it wasn't that I lost them. I mean, you know, I was just an idiot, you know. So it was all my fault. You know, I was living a bad lifestyle and things that I won't go into here. But look, you know, and that's why I say as parents, we got to be careful what our kids see, because although I didn't want to be like my parents, I saw it. You know, I saw what they did when times got tough and when they needed money. So when times got tough for me, I reverted back to what I saw. And yeah, so, you know, I came back here alone, and you know, I was sweating walking 5 meters. I always had to carry a sweat towel around. I was just you know, it was back like where I was at the Tinny house, you know. That's the fear. I was so angry at everything. I was just an angry guy, you know. And I remember when I first got back, I was staying at my sister's house, my youngest sister's house, on my niece's bed. I couldn't even fit on this thing. And I was staring at the roof thinking, same thing that I did all those years ago. And I was just laying on that bed, staring at the roof thinking, fuck. You know, like the inner critic in all of us. And Mike King talks a lot about it, that inner critic. You know, and my inner critic inside here was loud. It was deafening, you know. And it was just telling me, you idiot, how did you manage to stuff things up? You're useless, you know, and just, you had everything. And now look, you're staying at your sister's house with nothing, no money, no nothing, relying on your younger sister. But, you know, I always encourage people not to dwell at the bottom, you know, and feel sorry for ourselves. You know, I got up, and that's all I did was I got up from that bed I couldn't fit on. I went to One Tree Hill. I had to borrow my sister's car and borrow some petrol money. I went there and walked around the One Tree Hill. That's how my journey to, you know, losing 100 kilos. That's how it started, going for a walk around One Tree Hill.
How hard was that to tell yourself to, you know, the first step is just to get up and think of, you know, for someone, and you were saying in previous interviews, you were at this weight where, you know, mentally you're not in the space where you want to walk or do shit. You don't want to do anything. But how hard was it to tell yourself, get up, get into the car, you know, because at any time you could have said, nah, sweet, turn off the car, I'm going back inside. This is not for me.
Like I say to anyone, bro, you've got to want it, you know. I wanted it. I wasn't happy where I was, but I knew, you know, I got myself into that mess, and it was only me that was going to get me out of it. You know, so for me, wanting my kids back and wanting to be better for them, it was enough. I always say, if your why is strong enough, you can do anything. If it doesn't get you up, then to go out and do what you got to do, then it's not your why. You know, you got to rethink it. Yeah, so that's how I did it. Just got up and I got up and I did the work. You know, so there's no easy way around it. You know, everyone, our people are always looking for easy ways around things and looking for gimmicks. That's why we're preyed upon, you know, by people selling gimmicks. There's no easy way around this. You got to do the work.
And big welcome to those. Matthew, also welcome, brother.
Malo boys. Hey Dave, what's up, Bruce?
Hey, bro.
Yeah, and
sorry for the late entry. Better to be late than never. So yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Dave. Back to how you were saying. You know, you had a good friend, Dave Higgins, who you know, basically, I gave you something that you were, I guess, you had a goal to reach, and then you became this person or this character, and I'm sure you're probably millions of times, you know, you were this person, the brown butterbean. I could tell hand on heart, bro. I hated the way you did everything, you know, and, bro, like it's just because, you know, for us in New Zealand, or I guess Kiwis, Pollies, where we're not used to seeing this type of person.
Be humble. Be humble.
Yeah. See, and see this person, this character, against the grain, stands up there and tells, you know, not only New Zealand, he tells South Auckland. So everybody, who the F is this dude? Yeah. But you played it well. You played it really well, bro. Yeah, tell us about that experience, man.
Well, first of all, I better go check my messages and from all those years ago, see if you're one of the haters that messaged me.
No.
Look, it was bad, you know. The whole way we came up with that was Dave was really worried about me. He was really concerned that I was gonna, you know, kill myself. He was that worried about my mental health. So he didn't really leave me alone, you know. So he was going over to Germany to watch Joe Parker fight. It was one of the first times he was over there. And he said to me, "Do you want to come over? Do you want to come over and watch the fight?" I said, "Man, of course, the free trip to Germany." And he said, "Well, you better train hard because you're not coming business class." Because when he brought me back from Australia to here, he had to pay for me business class because I couldn't fit the economy. So to motivate me, to help me to lose some weight, he said, "I can come, but I have to go economy." So I started walking twice a day. That's all I did. And over there in Germany, they'd never seen such a large tattooed islander before with a shaved head. And I was there at Joe Parker weigh-in. It was on the Klitschko and Leopai fight. So the undercard has their own weigh-in, not on the main card. So at that undercard weigh-in, the head of German boxing said, "Man, we want to see how much you weigh." So I said, "I do too," because every time I jumped on the scale back home, it always said error. So, so they pulled me up. They pulled me up on stage and they put me on the scale. I was 178 kilos. And everyone was so like shocked, "Man, how this guy's so fat." But I was happy because I just realized I'd lost all this weight. So when I was on the scale, I was like, "Yeah, I'm the man. I'm the toughest man around. I'll beat anyone." You know, just as a joke. You know what you see on all them, you know, this arrogant, stereotypical arrogant American boxer or the bad guy in wrestling. And that's when Dave and everyone laughed at me, you know, and like the whole crowd. And that's when Dave said, "Man, that's what we're going to do. We're going to throw you on Joe Parker undercard. You're going to play that character of what you just did there, and we'll call you the Brown Butterbean." It was his brother that came up with the name, but his brother Andrew was going to say, "We'll call you the Black Butterbean." And they said, "No, we can't call you black. We'll call you brown." So that's where the name, because there's a famous American boxer called Butterbean, who's a big fat white guy. I was a big fat brown guy, so they called me the Brown Butterbean. But the Brown Butterbean premise was, you have to do. The Butterbean does whatever he wants. He only talks about himself in the third person. He does what he wants. He goes what he wants, and no one can stop him. And that was the thing. So I played this bad wrestling character, but I understood that this is the only way I'm going to earn money at the moment, you know. So, and I was on like $5,000 a fight, so it's not huge money, but to me it was all I had, and you know I'd send money back, you know, to my fam, to my kids, and then you know sometimes I could use it to go and visit them, but when I came over on the first Brian Minto versus Parker, it was out South Auckland. So I had to call out whatever town Joe was fighting in. So, of course, the first bloody town I fought on was South Auckland. So I called out South Auckland and everyone was going, man, who's this fat guy saying he's the toughest man and he's tougher than anyone in South Auckland? And people went nuts, you know, like they couldn't tell that I was joking. Like it was, you know, like I was getting death threats. And the worst one I ever got was, I'll send you some rope to hang your family with. You know, it was serious stuff. I'm going to shoot you on sight. You know, this is what I was getting. And you have to remember, at this time, I was depressed. I hated my life, you know, and I was getting all this constant hate. But I always say I never used it as a reason to stop, as an excuse to stop. I use it as fuel. I say, I'll show you. I'm going to show you, you know. And that's all I did. You know, I won, you know, I won a lot of fights coming up. But each time I won, you know, I was losing weight. But I also understood people are not paying to come watch me fight. And I'm not going to make the news unless I do something stupid, you know. So I understood the way media works. They're there for Joe Parker. I get it. So if I want to be on the news for the press conference, I better come out there and throw punches or throw chairs, you know, or turn up as Elvis or, you know, all this. And it worked, you know, but I was getting all this hate, but because I was losing weight every fight, everyone was starting to say, how are you doing this? You know, what's the secret? Why do our people always think there's a secret to losing weight? You know, so I tell them, stop eating rubbish, stop drinking fizzy drinks and go for a walk. That's how I did it, you know. So I started a group, BBM Motivation, because of people. It was a private group where I could share and be myself, like a blog, because everywhere else I was being an idiot. You know, I played the Butterbean character inside and outside of the ring because I knew that I had to build followers. I had to, even if they hated me, you know, it was currency. You know, it would mean Duco would keep me on the cards. It would mean they keep giving me money. You know, that's all it was for. But eventually it stopped because people could see through it. You know, as I was getting more media, you know, Tangata Pacifica did an article on me when it sort of showed, oh man, he's actually not an asshole. You know, so I started just being myself towards the end there. And, you know, and then the last fight when I got knocked out by Manu Vatavai, I thought, geez, there's got to be easier ways to raise awareness around BBM. So that was my last fight.
Man,
okay, Bills.
What a transition. You know, from all of those hating you to now everybody loving you. And I think, to, you know, hand on heart, I think I was one of the haters. I may have sent some messages to you, Terry. You remember? I said, but that was because, you know, everybody hated you. So let's just all jump on the bandwagon and just hate somebody because we're angry at something else.
Everyone hated me, man. It was, you know, it was hard. I'm not going to lie, because, I mean, I was not happy. You know, I was not in a happy place, and it was constant. My phone was going off constantly with hate. It was really bad. But, you know, like a wrestling character, the bad guy turns good, and I managed all the haters. That, you know, I'd say most of them now like me, and you know, but you know, I still get hate now. It's just not as bad as what it was before.
You've you know, as a professional sportsman, you traveled, you know, for league. Were you fighting during that time as well? Not on the streets, but as a boxer, or did
Nah.
you probably? Oh, okay, so when
no, I had a boxing match earlier in my youth. I playing for Mount Wellington, and then I had a fight on one of the 88 fight cards, fight night. Yeah, I thought that I had my first, so I did some training there, and then, you know, I ended up being on one of the cards there. That was the first one, but never really serious like what, you know, when we jumped into the ring there. Played a lot of league, chased that dream for a long time, and that's why my body's so wrecked now.
We just got questions from the chat. I'll just try. Comments. Sorry. Thanks guys for coming through. Yeah. If you have questions, again, throw them. But when you were in this character, and how was it for your family to see this different side of you? Because obviously you're playing this person, but now you had to come home to the family that like seeing all this hype. How were they? Did they know that you like this is all about business, or this is just to get paid? Did they know that side of it?
Well, I had no family here, so that was, my kids and that weren't here. But with my it was hard on my mum and my sisters because, as I said, the comments and stuff was really personal. It was hard on them. But I just would tell them, don't read it. Don't worry about it. But it was hard on them because, like I said, some of the stuff was vicious. There's been a couple of sometimes where there's been a couple of people that have messaged me and I've met them in the gym to sort it out. So that's happened a couple of times because people, it's not a street fight. There's a lot of street fighters that message just like campaigns of hate against me, and sometimes I'd had enough. So just come to the gym and we'll sort it out. And so we did that a few times, and they quickly understood that street fighting is different to boxing. So but it felt good to get some of them a hiding.
It's always the case, when you have keyboard warriors. Sorry, Wills. Lucky I wasn't one of them guys. Just to tell you the truth, I didn't message at all. I just kept it all here.
I see this question: could the fat version of you beat up this version in a 30-second fight? We'll never know.
Now, just over to the BBM movement, man, and how quickly you gain all these followers because of your weight journey. And you also in the community, you're doing amazing work. And then you started putting out programs. You're feeding the less fortunate. Was that all planned from the beginning, or did this all come into effect where a part of your health journey?
None of this was planned, not by me anyway. By God, yeah, but not by me. The boot camp started by me, helping my father-in-law's mate at West Auckland. It was only like 3 of us there, and I thought to myself, geez, we should see if anyone else in our Facebook group wants to come. So that's how it happened. And then we started out south in a driveway, and the same thing. I just said, we should see if anyone else wants to come. To think we had that. So only a handful of people outside. So now we have 2 gyms, community hubs. We have a community kitchen, and we have our own food share premises. All those places, everything we do is free. All those places that we pay for, though, none of those places are free. We have to pay for. And so, starting from where we are to where we are now is it shows people what's possible. That you can do it. You can do anything. What we come from. So that's where we started. Now, literally impacting tens of thousands of people. Even just through our boot camps, before all of this COVID stuff happened, just before our boot camps, we were getting, anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 people, coming to our sessions, when we had our big warehouses. On our books, we've got 3,000 members in the gyms. And then we started our food bank. Now it's called a food bank. I call it a food share because I'm not a bank that makes millions of dollars and of profit. We share everything we have. But it started out of the day before level 4 last year. I got asked to help a mother of 4. Now, the day before level 4, the first level 4, when no one knew what was happening, the uncertainty was, crazy. The day before level 4, a mum of 4 kids has no food and no money, and I get a call to ask to help. So I met this lady, and we helped. We got heaps of food, and we went out, and the kids come running up, Mum, we've got food now, And it broke my heart because I understood that any of our people who only had their heads above water, just, you know, COVID and this lockdown they're going to drown, you know, and all these people that fall through the cracks, they've exhausted all their food grants from winds. They have nowhere else to go. Then we got all the overstayers that we help. They can't go anywhere because they can't show their ID, you know. So we have all these people that fall through the cracks. That's when we come in, and because we can help, we did, and that's what it's about, you know. And I always encourage people, if you can help, do it. You don't have to think. Why are you thinking about it? If you can help, just put your hand in your pocket and help. You know, you don't have to be big or small. You know, everything helps. Everything counts. And so we started, and you know, from that one family, now we're helping between 400 and 700 families every week. You know, and only just recently have we got government support to do this. So I didn't worry about it. I just did the work, and I knew the support would come. I had faith. You know, now we've got really good support from MSD. You know, we've just got funding from Ministry of Health for our health program. So we've been going 7 years, and we just got our funding now. But I always knew it would happen. You know, we just have to make it such an overwhelming case that they can't deny you. You know, because the fact is, when you're on the ground and you're working, and you're not like a big, massive organization with all this infrastructure around you, and you're brown, you have to work harder. You have to show more results. You have to you have to get it so big, and you have to have the results and all this people backing you that they just can't deny it any longer. And that's what's happened. And the food bank now, our parcels that we give is, you know, there's food parcels, and then there's our parcels. You know, our parcels, I want to make sure that it's a parcel that I would go to the supermarket and buy for my family. You know, so we have chicken, mince, you know, sausages, all that we have, meat, fruit, veg, grocery items. You know, it's a full-on proper food parcel. You know, and every sticker of BBM I put on there, it means something to me. You know, it means that this family is going to have enough food to eat for a week. You know, and the kids are going to have enough food, healthy food to eat for a week. So that's what we're doing now, you know, and then next year we've got, you know, contracts with for pre-employment, because I don't want our people, we're always too used to having our hands out. We're too reliant on the system. You know, we've got to do it ourselves, you know, with our support. So with me, I was lucky I had positive people around me that could pluck me out of situations, like Dave Higgins, that could give me an opportunity, but I still have to do the work. So you get an opportunity, you still got to do the work, make the most of it. You know, I want to be, what BBM is that opportunity and that positive influence for all of our people that are around us. If you want it, we can help you. You know, so with our food bank, we also have the food bank. We're going to help, but we want to help you get into work so that you don't need a food bank. You know, I don't want the food bank to be around. I want our people to be okay, but we're here if you need us. You know, it's just we can support you if you need us, but I don't want our people to be reliant on it. You know, so what we're trying to do is, you know, you see these kids, you see some of these kids, man, it'll break your heart, you know. So, but people just don't understand that there was bubbles long before COVID, you know. People talk about bubbles now, but there was bubbles long before. But the bubbles is people up here don't know what's going on down here. They have no idea what it's like. They have no idea what it's like to not have enough food to give their kids to go to school. You know, they have no idea what it's like to not have money to buy shoes for their kids to go to school. You know, they have no idea what it's like for the kids to share uniforms. So one kid will go one day, the other kid goes another. You know, uniform sharing. No, people don't understand what's happening. That's why we're trying to break these cycles and illustrate and use our social media to show what's happening, so that people go, man, really, that's happening. You know, they become aware. People want to help, but they don't know how to. You know, and I send it the same thing I sent to MSD. I said, look what's going on here. You know, so. Yeah, I forgot what the question was, but that's my answer.
What an answer. What an answer. Okay, we're done.
Nah, that's exactly it. I probably asked something else, but no, it was basically that, and how you yourself built this empire for the community. So, man, it's you know, we need heroes like this, and we've said it again. We need heroes, but like you've said, is that you can become that hero. You can do this for yourself, and that's what a lot of I guess the people that are turning up, families that are turning up, and how you make these programs, free programs and easy to not easy to do, but easy to access. You're welcoming not only the people doing the exercise, but also their family. And how important was that change to bring in family into these exercises or these camps?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we Pacific Island Maori, we do everything together, and what I realize is if the kids can't come, then the parents can't come, So that's why, I'm so happy with the Ministry of Health support that we've got now. They understand that what we're doing is working. That's why they're supporting it. So it's big for us, because it's not just good for us, it's good for all the other groups around the country like us, so we can prove that it works, which it does. It opens the doors for so many people. And it's all about being, what we do in BBM. It's not the exercise, bro. It's not the exercise that's important. What the important part is the culture, and that we have, where it's safe. People aren't judged. It's like a village in the islands or a marae here, where everyone's together, and we support each other. And it's very important that, for me, the reason why I love having the kids there is because it's important for the kids to see their parents working hard. It's important to see that, our kids are afraid of failing. Everyone's afraid to fail. What I always say, if I didn't fail, there'd be no BBM. If I didn't fail, there'd be no group helping tens of thousands of our people right now eat. So it's when the kids are there and they see their parents go down to a knee and really tired, but they see their parents get back up again. They understand it's okay to fall down. It's okay to take a knee, so long as you get back up. So that's why I love having the kids there, because to break the cycles, we need to show our kids. Too many of our politicians talk too much. Too many of our leaders talk too much. We talk, but we lead by example. That's what BBM's about. We want to break cycles. You got to show our children, not just tell them.
100. Hey, Dave, just touching on, with there's some of us that people out there that have like a family that have expectations on them, or the pressures on them to provide for the family. But then there's yourself, do you feel pressure having to cater to the whole of West Auckland and South Auckland in terms of providing food and opportunities for them?
Yeah, man, it's a immense pressure, especially when we didn't have, the funding coming through, for the first, 8 weeks or 10 weeks of the lockdown. I'll wake up thinking about it. Go to sleep thinking about it. Man, how are we going to feed these people today? And it's just, the messages I get, not just around the food bank, but help, wanting help for health, to get on their health journey. It is an immense pressure. It's not one I take lightly. And it's something that, that's my why. I talk about our why. My why is my children, my family, my wife, and my people. That's what drives me, because I want to show our people that it's possible. But you've got to be willing. I'll share what I do with it. Everything I work, our pillars of BBM. It's the first one is starting. For everyone watching and this live or later, don't overthink things. You've got to start, and that can be anything, not just health. You just got to do this. Start it. Same thing when you guys are thinking about doing this podcast. You just started it. The second thing, and on starting, we always think it will never happen to us. Oh, what happened to me? Until it does. I've visited so many people and of our people in hospitals, and every single one of them, and you have to understand that not everyone that I visited in hospital made it out. Every single one of them, and all our people, Māori PI, every single one of them would give absolutely anything to go back in time and start. Everything. They'd give anything to have an opportunity to go back in time and start. So while you're here and you have an opportunity to start, don't waste it. Start. Second thing is staying consistent. Consistency is all about understanding that no one's perfect and you will fall off. You are going to eat a lot in Christmas. You are going to drink a lot in Christmas, but you just got to get back on the wagon. I talk about life and how life sucks sometimes. Sometimes life sucks more than it's any good. And you are going to get knocked down. You will get told no. You will get doors closed on you. You will lose opportunities. But every time you're knocked down, what do you got to do, boys? When you're knocked down, what do you got to do?
Get back up, man.
100%. Amen. 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 Every time you're knocked down, get up. Look, you got to understand, success is just over there. I'm sitting in a house now, you know. I'm happy. I'm not worried about nothing, you know. I'm helping my people every day. That's my job. You know, it's not even a job. You know, I go to work, I help people with my team. Success is just over there. But how would you ever know if you always give up? You're never going to reach success if you just give up every time life gets tough. The third thing is making sure that you surround yourself with good people. You know, if you surround yourself with 5 idiots, what does that make you?
6.
100%. Surround yourself with 5 successful people. Surround yourself with 5 people that make you want to be better. They're going to pick you up when you're down. You know, when I was living this life and I had all these people around me because I was buying everything. You know, I was the one buying everything. So they were there because of what I could do for them, you know. But when I lost it all, no one was around. No one, you know. So surround yourself with people that are going to be there in the good and the bad times. You know, I said there was a guy called Phil who's lost 150 kilos with us. He was on the sickness benefit for 15 years, this guy. Okay, on the sickness benefit for 15 years. He now works for us full time. He's our main guy that does all the food bank, runs classes. After being on the sickness benefit for 15 years, could hardly walk when I met him, you know. And one of the things I said to him when he wanted to come hang with us, I said, well, anyone you're hanging out with now that's inviting you out to eat and drink rubbish knowing you're nearly dead, cut them. Simple. If they are your friends, they'll support you on your journey. They don't have to be on it with me, but they'll support you. And if they don't support you, they're not your mates, so who cares? And the last thing is no excuses. Don't ever let excuses get in the way. Our people have too many excuses, you know. Don't let excuses get in your way. If you have a strong why and a strong purpose, you can overcome any excuse. But your why and your purpose won't always work. You need to understand this. It won't always work because no one's perfect. You understand? So it won't always stop you going to a drive-through when you shouldn't. You know, it won't, because you're not perfect. But your why and your purpose should always get you back on the wagon. And if it's not enough to get you back on that wagon, then it's not your why. So you need to revisit it. Have a think. Have a deeper think about it. So those are the 4 tips. I usually charge a lot of money for those at corporate talk, so you all got them for free.
Should have remember I used 3, but these feel like going for a run or something now.
I'll be back, guys. I'm going to do 200 press-ups, eh?
Dave, just it's refreshing. I mean, me and the boys used to talk about this. You know, there's days where you go through, you know, that whole mental barrier where social media plays with your mind on what's happening out there, or, you know, all the rubbish being spread. But it's always refreshing to come across your page and see something that you're doing, either with the youth or partnering up with somebody, or somebody donating something, but just seeing you with it, keeping that same energy. And for myself, I think that's you are our New Zealand hero. So I've seen you get awards or nominated for the New Zealand of the year. Which one is do you hold, you know, up there?
Oh man, to be honest, being nominated for those awards by the people, that's enough, you know. But the actual award, I couldn't care less. You know, being nominated by our people it feels good. You know, that's amazing. But the award, you're going to be judged by a panel that don't know you. So really, to me, I couldn't care less. You know, probably the Pacific Choice Award I got from Tangata Pacifica a few years ago. That means a lot. But yeah, I don't really worry about the awards, but being nominated, because it's nominated by the people. I believe that you know, we should start our own Kiwi of the Year, because it should be nominated by the people and then chosen by the people. And then it truly is. Then it truly is an actual award. That's, you know, you're choosing a New Zealander of the Year. It should be New Zealand that actually votes. You know, it shouldn't be a panel, you know, that you don't know. that don't really know your work. They're only going off what they're reading, you know. That's my thoughts anyway. So my team, I tend to have these ideas, and then my team going, "Oh no," because I have to say, look, I've got an amazing team. I couldn't do this without my wife, as you know, to be right there with me, supporting me from before there was BBN, and my amazing crew that make all this happen. You know, I'm the front guy, and I do our social media, but they do all the work. You know, so I just got to make sure I can get the connections and get the money coming in. But you know, I've got a very good team, so I'm very blessed.
Just a quick question, Dave. Just a simple question we usually ask our guests. Just a reset for the Brown Butterbean. As busy of a man that you are, catering to our people, spending time with your family. What is your reset? What's your go-to for your reset? When it's time to take a step back.
I train. Training for me is bro, is my therapy. It's literally saved my life. When I was back here, and you know, in a real dark place, I'll you know, walk around One Tree Hill, and I wasn't thinking about anything. So it's important now, you know, if you think about everything that's going on in the world, you need to give your brain a rest. So while you're walking a very steep hill, you're not worried about anything. You're just worried about, man, this hill's steep. So when you're finished, it's your brain's refreshed. You know, you're physically, yeah, you might be tired, but mentally you're refreshed. So, you know, for me, training with my team, that's me going to the pub. You know, it's going and training with our crew, and that's what I do to relax. You know, now my wife's jumped on board. She comes to training with us as well, so it's awesome.
Nice.
And how's the family, Dave? How's everyone at home, and how's, I guess, the mental space during this lockdown?
It's been it's been hard on my wife, you know, this lockdown, because I've been gone, so I get to go, and you know, and life was pretty normal. But my wife been stuck at home with all the kids, three boys, one's 4 years old, so it was quite tough for her. But other than that, everything's good. You know, I do have to trying to find balance. You know, the thing when you serve, your family tend to miss out. You know, that's something I'm conscious of, and everyone who works in the community understands. You know, whether it's church community or doing this type of work, social worker, your family definitely miss out. My father's the same. He works. My sister started a thing called Grace Foundation, which look after you know, people just out of prison. They got women's refuges, and so he's serving that way. So it's, you know, now our relationships never really healed from back when he went away, and now he's still away. You know, so you know, we argue about that a bit now. You know, because I wasn't with him now. He doesn't see my kids much, so I'm conscious of that as well. You know, making sure that I can, you know, it's still never enough, you know, but I am conscious of it. So trying to get that balance right.
And how are you, bro? How are you feeling today and at this time, bro? How's everything for yourself, bro?
You know, I'm good. Like some days are better than others. You know, I think, you know, when you've gone through depression, it never really leaves. You know, some days are better than others. You just got to make sure that you have good people around you that you can talk to. You know, it's so important for us, our people. Sometimes we're too shy, and we see vulnerability and as a weakness, and asking for help as a weakness, when I can tell you it's not a weakness. You have to be very strong to show your vulnerability and to ask for help. So, you know, I encourage everyone to make sure you reach out and ask for help, because it really is a sign of strength. So some days I'm good, some days I'm not so good. You know, and if I'm feeling not so good, I just try and make sure I get out and have a train with some of my friends, some of my team, to get me back onto an even keel.
I'll just check some comments and some questions up, Dave. I know you're a busy man, but I'll just probably go for a couple. Here's one. Hey, Dave, what are your views on mental health and addiction supports here in New Zealand? Thanks for sharing, brother. Blessings and love from Giovanna.
What are my thoughts? Well, Yeah, I don't think there's enough support. I mean, look at what's happening with Mike King. He struggled for a long time, and to get support, I think it's slowly coming. But overall, I think the system is just overrun. It can't cope, and I don't blame the system. I just think it can't cope. So what I've said, and when I had a Zoom with Jacinda last year, but when we had this doing the stuff with her, I said that, if you really want to make an impact and help people, all you've got to do is look at what's working in the community around mental health or anything. Whatever issues there are in our communities, there's groups there trying to combat it, with everything. You just look at the groups, see what's working, and support them, help them. If it's working and they're on no budget, imagine what they could do with a little bit of budget. They can do a lot with a little. That's why, with the support that we've got now, you watch this space, we're going to be everywhere. And so, that's what I think needs to happen. Addictions, I haven't had too much to do with, although we have had, a lot of people come out of rehab and join BBM. And one of the things someone said to me, actually, I did an interview with someone about an addict. They said, "Oh, this is where people just don't understand." They're saying, "Oh, do you think it's good they're swapping one addiction for another? Because addicted to X." I said, "Well, I know what addiction I'd rather them to have. I'd rather they be addicted to turning up here, being around good people and exercising, rather than being in a corner somewhere smoking pee, So, so I haven't had too much to do with the addiction space, but I know there's a lot of work that needs to be done in both mental health and addiction. And you got guys like Mike King out there. He's a warrior, and I think we just got to keep moving. And I do believe that the government understand now they've got to support the groups like his and like ours that are out there on the front line, So I think it's coming.
Sorry, another question from Sam Latu. Can I ask, is there one person you would come out of retirement to fight?
Listen, I'm 42 years old and I'm fighting every day for our people. That's it. I fight every single day for our people. So I got no time for fighting. I didn't box because I was good at it. I boxed to get money and get my life back together. So I want to fight anyone. Look, I come out of retirement for Manu and look what happened. Even with that, it's all for a reason. It's all commented everything for a reason. I got knocked out, but I got up. I just got up and I carried on. And that's for me. That happened for a reason because I had to show that's what you do. It's not fun getting knocked out, especially when you're on TV. So you have to get up. You have to get up and show people you just got to get up, keep moving, man. I've got way more support from my losses than from any win.
Wow.
Swanky's got a question there. The big numbers of our people that you help through your food share or your fitness program, how often is mental health in the conversation?
Whenever we're talking to people, it's all about mental health because when you don't have any food, you're not happy, and that's why we do our best. We can't help everyone. We're still, even though we're getting funny, it's still, you can't help everyone, so we do our best to help as many as we can and answer as quickly as we can. That's why even, I'll meet someone if they message me and I'll meet them on the side of the road and give them some vouchers if I have them on me. And I just talk to them, I talk to them about what are they going through, because you always feel better after you talk about your issues. A burden shared is less of a burden. So mental health's a big part of it because we talk to the people coming in, and just sometimes that's enough. Just talking and showing that there's someone out there that cares about them. So we try and make sure that we're not looking at people as numbers that are coming through. Everyone that comes through is our people. So we sit down. We have all walks of life too, man. We got from people, middle class people that are falling on tough times because you got the working poor that don't qualify for any food grants because they earn too much, but they're still poor. And then you've got, we help, gang families. So we've got all the Mongol mob families come in, we help them. We help anyone. And they're all going through the same things.
And one last question from the chat from Swanky. Who inspires the Butterbean or Dave Letele?
Who inspires me? That's a tough one. I've never thought about that. People who inspire me is you know, it's the mums I see turning up to get food for their kids. You know, because to me it's such great strength. And when you speak to these mums and you think, man, you think your life's bad, and you see these mums out there doing it, you know, what they have to go through every day. They inspire me, and that's what inspires me to keep going, is to helping people like this. You know, we have the mum of 4. She had I posted about it the other day. She had I think that's cleft, called it cleft hands and feet, and 2 of her kids had cleft hands and feet. And you know, man, it still keeps going. You know, and does her best, and you know, so that people like that inspire me. And so, you know, from that, we got her heaps of help, you know, so, yeah, there's lots of people out there we've got to keep going for.
Again, brother, man, do you have something, Wills?
Yeah, just what's the 5-year plan for Butterbean? If there is a plan.
In 5 years, I want to be, I want to be out throughout New Zealand. I want us to have a massive. I want us to own our own premises. So right now we're leasing. I want us to own our own premises, which is not just a gym. I want everything to be in one place. So I want our gym, our workout. I want our kitchen. I want our food share. I want our classrooms for our youth courses and our employment programs, all in one place, one massive hub. That's where we'll be in 5 years.
Nice.
And with all that hard work you're doing now, it's only a matter of time. And you've got people, like the below you, or not below you, but just like we see you as role models. And like one of the comments said from one, you're a national treasure because you're just doing stuff not for you, but for the people, for the community. So at this time, brother, like, thank you so much. But we like to share, I guess, a positive or advice that we could share with everyone that's tuning in, or at a later stage, jumping on our podcast. That'll be aired later on in the week. Well, we'll start with Will, so you can get mind you, you've been sharing a lot of gems throughout this whole show. You don't have to talk. So over to you, Will.
Yeah, usually I drop the gems, but the brown butterbean's here, so he's taking that one. But if anything, man, it's been a pleasure. We're saying to some of the boys who were a bit nervous. We've never been this nervous. But just thank you for all the stuff that you do and you continue doing. So thanks also.
Shoulders.
Over to Mavi.
For me, something I'd like to leave, or actually something I picked up from tonight's conversation with Mr. Butterbean. Just if you're one of those people who are getting knocked down at the moment, this is Christmas time. Yeah, it's only around the corner now. Do get up, do keep pushing. Ask for help. Message anyone on the screen right now. Would it be food, whatever? Just ask. It's yeah. That's what I'm gonna leave you with, because it's the hard time of the year where nobody really knows what anybody's going through. So yeah, just if you are going through a hard time, reach out and ask. And good to have Joe for you tonight, Dave.
Yeah, just on that, bro. Thanks, bro. Just on that, we're always Christmas. We're always wanting to give it's all about material things, and we're giving Christmas presents to kids, but I really want to encourage people to understand that, what the best thing you can give your kids is your time, and I had to learn that the hard way, and I know it, say, oh yeah, but it is, because you can't get it back. It's priceless. You know, my parents and my uncle were they were driven to give us material things. You know, that was what they thought we wanted. And hey, man, we liked it. You know, I used to drive a Mercedes limousine. You know, just material things. And we had warehouses filled with cars, material things. But what's the point when my cousin hung herself in that warehouse? You know, it's just, they don't mean anything. You know, all that she wanted was time with, you know, and my uncle's presence, being the best version of himself. So I really want to encourage all the people watching to not be concerned if you can't give your kids the latest something. You know, you can give them time, you know, and going to the beach and going for bike rides, going for walks, all that's free. You know, my son, we went on a bike ride the other day and I just had him on the seat. You know, he's 4 years old. I had a seat on the front of mine. And he loved it. Because this is the best time, Dad. This is the best time of my life. It costs nothing, just time. So in this tough time, as suicide rates go up in Christmas, you know, we feel the pressure. You know, just understand that, man. Just give your kids time, and that's all that really meant. Time and a chocolate, you know, man, chocolate.
It's quite funny you say that, because just today, you know, finished work early, came home, and the kids are home from kindy, and you know, they've been talking about Christmas presents, and you know, Dad, when we're getting this. So I said, look, let's go outside and you can ride your bikes. So while they were riding up and down, or their scooter, I said, oh, okay, what do you guys want for your present? And then they just said, oh, Dad, this is so cool, man. Can we do this tomorrow? So they were like, their mind was totally thinking about presents. So it's a good way to say it, is spend time with your family. So I'm gonna take my kids out probably Christmas Day, because they're not getting presents, and just ride their bikes up and down the road for 20 hours. So you know, you've dropped the gems tonight, and yeah, one thing I've taken away from this show is well, there's quite a few, is you know, get up, man, get up. We can all do this, but it starts with yourself. So get up, make that first move, and with the pillars that Brother Dave has shared, man, it's easy to understand, but that first step needs to be made. So again, from the brothers here, Dave, we thank you so much, and for the chat, thank you for coming through and sharing all your questions. And with Christmas around the corner, and if we don't get to see you guys, Merry Christmas and keep safe, especially in the times that we have this COVID. We don't know when we're getting out of it. You know, be kind and look after each other. So thank you, Brother Dave. If you have any last words you want to share, go ahead, brother. And no excuses. That's the one. So I'm Teza, by the way.
And Will's.
Mafioso. Thank you.